Hello, everyone. A very good morning to all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Here, this side, Aftab Heather, and Aftab Speaks presents you today the origin of democracy. Yes, today we are going to have a look on the history and the present condition of the democracy around the world. You know that democracy, which is a term, exactly this word democracy has been driven from one of the Greek dictionary, ancient Greek dictionary, which is exactly the combination of two words, the demo plus kratos. What is the meaning of demo? Means public, and kratos means the rule. It goes for the public rule. Democracy that turns into the democracy from the ancient Greek demokratos. Whenever we do talk about the democracy, that is one of the very vast word in today's world. And for understanding this word, it's very complicated and it very complicated and comprehensive word. If you want to understand the democracy, first you need to go towards the origin, that when the democracy was born and what was the exact purpose of the democracy, and the people, those who were even liking and fighting for the democracy, what they were wishing to just bring in this world. Now, today we are going to have a look of the origin of democracy first. Do you know the when democracy was born? You can think about this. Maybe 100 years ago, 100.5 years ago, or 200 years ago. No, more than this. Let me bring back you to the French Revolution. You must have studied or you must have heard about the French Revolution. Whenever we do talk about the French Revolution is called the mother of the democracy. Or this was the time when the democracy was burning in this world, and the world was going to introduce with the democracy its very first time ever in the history. The very first thing, democracy came in the existence with the help of the French Revolution. French Revolution was a revolution against the monarchy, and the people of the France were willing to have the system of the rule in a different manner. They were just wishing to have a different kind of the rule, and rule must have been depended on the public autonomy or the public decisions. Because of that, in the French Revolution, there were three slogans. The people were favoring those three slogans. The very first, fraternity; second, liberty; and equality. You can say that liberty, equality, and fraternity. These three was the slogan of the French Revolution, and even it is believed that these three are even today the base and the cornerstone of a democracy and democratic politics. Whenever it comes about the democratic politics, there must be the liberty, equality, and fraternity. If one is not having the fraternity, not having the liberty and the equality, the nation can never be compared and can never be proclaimed to be one of the democratic nation. So this was the birth of the democracy, that it was born in the during it was born during the time of the French Revolution, which started from the 1789 and moved up till 1894. So it was the time of the democracy when it was born. It was the time period, it was a complete period from 1789 to 1794. This was the time when the French Revolution got a success and the democracy turned into the existence. And since then till now, the democracy is moving with lots of the flaws, lots of the problems, lots of the struggles. You know that the struggles, whenever we do talk about the public movement or the public or struggles, always the public movements and struggles are bringing a very good reputation towards the democracy. Democracy means an sphere of the politics, an environment where people could perform their wish, they could do the strike, they could do the protest under the constitutional peripheries. And that is wheresoever the democratic public movements are ongoing, it means it is bringing one of the reputation to the nation. So it was the time when the democracy was born. You can now clearly say that exactly the birthday of the democracy goes back to the French Revolution. Thank you for this session. Now just move up to the next. And let's talk about the democracy present situation. Before reaching in the present situation, today I'm just shooting this video in 2023, means 2023. This is the month of November. Before this, let's talk about the contemporary world. Let's talk about the early 20th and 19th century. When the early 20th and 19th century and late 19th century, the democracy had faced lots of problem in a several part of the world, faced the dictatorship, and even there was the darkest period for the democracy sometime in each corner of the world. Now, to just keep it continue and to keep it alive, the people were fighting, and the people, those who are liking the democratic politics, they were just favoring a lot the democracy, and they turned back on the roads and they organized the protest, and they just made government agree to follow their commands, and to work as a public servitor or the servant. Means in the democracy, all the leaders, all the authorities are concerned to be one of the public servant, and that must be, this is exactly the soul of the spirit of the democracy. Now let's talk about the democracy's today's condition. Before reaching in today's condition, the democracy was passing from a very tough situation. And because of that, whatsoever the condition of the democracy today, let me clear you that democracy around the world is so-called democracy today. Either it is in Brazil, Russia, or any other part of the world, especially in Arab countries, and it is in India even, the rapidly declining the democracy index. When the democracy index is rapidly declining and decreasing, going downhill, how can we proclaim that the democracy is just moving appropriately? Not at all. Let's have a look on the democratic feelings of today's world. It is according to the UN that the democracy provides an environment that respects the human rights and fundamental freedom. But if we have a look around the world, from the Turkey to India, from Russia to America, from Britain to the other European nations, you will find that there is a sheer violence of the human rights where this is not taken care. When the human right is not taken care, then it means what? The democracy is collapsing somewhere down. Okay, I said in the beginning of the video that the democracy means the rule of the public. When it is the rule of the public, then why the human rights are not taken care? When the human rights are not taken care, then what's the use of the democracy, and how it can be defined in other words? The next, from the Turkey to India, from the China, from the Russia. Sorry, the China is not one of the democratic nation. Okay, from the America to Russia, from the Europe to India, and from other Arab countries, they are even apprehending their journalists and imposing state violations, okay, state violence over the journalist, and it means that they are not free to perform, they are not free to work. And when the journalists are not free to work, it simply goes that democracy is collapsing somewhere. When the democracy was born during the time of the French revolutions, since then till now, it means the democracy is more than 200 years old, and maybe it is getting old, as everything as everything is having one of the young age, one of the child age, and the old age. And after the old age is what? Is democracy going to die? Maybe. Let's see the next. If we talk about the economic performance of a country, of a democratic country, and if we do compare this with one of the dictator country, it simply goes that in the late 20th and early 21st century, all the dictators carried out the very good and appreciable economic records as compared to the democratic country. Even in India, this is taught in the NCRT syllabus of the ninth and 10th class, that the dictators are having the good records, good economic records, as compared to the democrators, as compared to the democratic nation. When the democratic nations are not even able to perform the good economic situation, how they will fill the all basic needs and requirements of the people? There is one question about democracy. The very first question, right to vote is not everything in the democracy. The right to vote is very much, but it is not everything in the democracy. Definitely, if there would not be the right to vote, the democracy can never be thought. But the main thing comes here, that is, the right to vote is not each and everything. Right to vote is very much, but not everything. It means only voting cannot give the people the way of survival, cannot bring their lifestyle to a good standard, cannot give them the basic survivals. The democracy means people must be having a participation in the active politics directly, either from the down level or from the upper level. Means from the local governments, the local body governments, to the central government, there must be the rich enrichment of the there must be enrichment of the people. Then the second thing we do talk here about the survival and the performance of the democracy. The survival of democracy is day by day collapsing, and the democratic ideology is getting downhill. When the democratic ideology is getting downhill, you can even move for the other alternates. Maybe 100 years later, 200 years later, people would see the different kind of the methodology of ruling the nation. Because today, whatsoever the condition of the democracy that's surviving well only in a few of the developed countries, such as in America and other European nations and in New Zealand. But in other parts, such as in the southern Asia, that is not surviving well, which is exactly one of the hub of the democratic experiments, especially in India, that is known as the world largest democracy. Next video, we will talk about the democracy index and the performance of India, and we will talk about the suffrage movement, which is one of the great component of democratic politics and democratic world. Now you can think that is democracy going to die, because as the date of birth of the democracy goes 200 years back, now it has been 200 years. Now it has been 200 years that democracy is surviving. But maybe right now the democracy is not having the very same parameters in this world as it was established with the thought process. You may think about this, and then you can write your comments. Please like and subscribe this video. This video is brought to you by the ICRA Infotech, which is the sponsor of this video. Bye.